Hello guys, how you doing? My name's Theo M.E. Taylor.
And this is Tim Mathis. We are going to be doing some movie reviews going forward. And since I've been playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, we decided to go ahead and
He's been playing Texas Massacre, the game. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't play some horrors because he's a scaredy guy.
Maybe.
But anyway, since I've been playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, I decided we should go ahead and review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we did, and here's what we think about it. We're going to do some pros, some cons, and then whether or not we would recommend the movie. So Theo, if you would like to start with the pros or the cons.
I'm going to do with the cons. I hated this movie. I think it was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. I've never seen so many Caucasians that were just trying to get killed, which I'm fine with it, but there was so many silliness that you might want to go with.
It reminds me of that South Park episode, Help, I'm white trash and I'm in trouble.
Tonight on an all-new White Trash in Trouble. Pabst Blue Ribbon and white trash. It's a deadly combination that can lead to prison time and children being taken away from their home.
Yeah, I didn't hate it as much as Theo. I'll leave that for my whether or not I'd recommend it at the end of the video. But I will agree that one of the biggest problems I have with the movie is just how dumb the victims are. I know that's become a cliche in horror that, oh, the victims are so dumb and stuff, but these are the dumbest victims I've seen in a while, and I watch a lot of horror. This movie would have been 10 minutes long if I was involved. First of all, we never would have picked up the sketchiest looking hitchhiker on the planet. You don't have cell phones. You can't call 911 if this dude starts whining.
It's the 70s.
So, like, what are you doing? You pick him up, and then while you're in the car, he cuts himself.
We don't stop there.
And another guy, one of your guys, and you don't even like cancel the road trip, go to the hospital, go to the cops, do something. No, you just wrap up the loan and just keep going.
Yeah.
He started a fire inside the van, my dudes. So honestly, after that hitchhiker stuff, everything that happened to these guys was
the beginning starts off with them letting a handicapable, what do they call them now? I don't know. A person in a wheelchair was in the van, which they have him in the wheelchair in the van. Why does he have to be in the wheelchair in the van? They roll him down a freaking plank.
Could have put him on a seat.
They could have put him on a seat. There were seats in the van.
There were some seats in the van.
There were seats in the van.
It wasn't full of seats.
It wasn't full of seats.
But there were some seats.
But there were some seats. You know what I'm saying? So like they could have put him in the van. Like there was so many things, and then he just rolls down. He rolls down the thing, and then they just keep going, and they never talk about him peeing on himself and rolling down a hill.
Yeah, it had to be the smelliest van.
Oh my God. Hippies were a thing.
Terrible.
Ill.
And let's talk about that for a second, because I think we both agree that the character that is in the wheelchair, Franklin, who is the brother of the final girl, is one of the worst characters, I think, in horror history.
I've never wanted somebody in a wheelchair to die more than that.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
I can only think of only one other prominent wheelchair character, and that's the guy in, I think it's Friday the 13th Part 3. And he's a great character who ends up with a great death. Franklin, on the other hand, is not a good character, but you do kind of cheer when he gets chainsawed. Spoiler alert, by the way. He didn't survive. He's in a wheelchair, guys. How are you going to survive?
Yeah, and he knew all the paths. He knew all the paths and all the places to go down. Like, how you know?
Yeah.
This was before the ADA, so there were no, like, wheelchair...
I don't know how he got inside the house.
No.
He got inside the house at one point, and it's like...
And nobody was there.
Did they have a wheelchair ramp?
Nope.
At the Sawyer house? I don't think so. No. But yeah, it was... I don't understand the inclusion of Franklin in the movie. To me, it actually...
I believe in inclusion, but not in inclusion.
I do too, but in a slasher film that is half set in the woods, half set in like a junky old house... to me, it just took away a lot from the actual tension of the movie.
And I noticed, like, all the people were real rapey in the beginning of the movie. Like, them gold guys that they step by to see her.
Oh yeah,
daddy. He was rapey.
Yeah. A lot of rapey rural folk.
Rural folk.
So
that was
probably
Texas.
Yeah, probably not too far off from 1973.
Yeah, well,
because it was filmed in 73. Came out in 74.
I don't even think them people knew the camera was on.
And finally, I believe you had one more con.
Which was?
No.
Oh, no titties. There was a 1970 film with the no titties.
Zero.
Which is weird.
You gotta at least give me like one, like a boop.
Just one.
Just one.
Oh, she was in the woods, whatever. They said there was a fishing hole and a watering hole. There was no hole.
Yeah.
There was no hole. So I mean, I guess progressive.
You know, and that's one thing I would like to bring up. Is that this movie is one of the most progressive movies of the 70s. Not
because
only
of the no titty.
Not only do you not have any sexploitation, other than that one shot that's like the butt shot, the famous shot when she's walking up to the house, but that's not that bad, considering that it was the 70s and basically you had a lot of that going on. But also the fact that a lady does survive at the end. She puts up quite the fight against the family. And the hero of the film, and this is going to interest a lot of people because I've got a lot of friends that do comedy, and I've heard this joke a million times about black people don't survive horror movies. First of all, you're discounting Night of the Living Dead, which was the first one to do it. But this one, the hero of the film, who actually shows up in the last scene, runs over the hitchhiker, saves the final girl by opening his truck door. He's a black trucker and smokes Leatherface in the face with a giant industrial wrench, causing Leatherface to almost cut off his own leg and allowing everybody that was left alive to get out alive. So
he didn't get in the truck. He wasn't able to get. They didn't let him in the truck.
They didn't let him in the truck.
He ran off, and he had to go run off, and she got in the.
Yeah. He let the person covered with blood in the truck.
So Montgomery Ball.
Yeah. It's, you know, they can't go full hog on progressivism in 1974. Somebody test audience that and was like, I don't know if this will work.
Should he get in the truck with the white woman?
I don't know if this will work, Toby.
No.
This is still Garland, Texas.
Yeah,
it was filmed in Garland,
Texas.
Which is basically central Texas. So
we know that place.
One of the things I really like about the movie, because I'm the only one of us who liked anything about the movie, really.
I hated it.
The atmosphere is really good. The first shot, the opening shot, is it really sets the tone for what you're going to be dealing with. The music is good. The overall feel of the area you're in, it's very unnerving. So there is a lot of tension throughout the film. It is actually, in my opinion, especially the first time you watch it, it is actually a scary movie. It does have scares. Some of the horror movies that we have nowadays, they're not scary. But this one, to me, it does have some actual scary stuff. There is gore, but it's not as gory as the title entails. You think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's just going to be tons of gore. There's a fair bit, but not as bad.
I think it was gory for the time. The 70s, you know what I'm saying? Like
for the time,
yeah, they threw blood on a lady. They're like, now.
And one last thing I would like to cover on the pros before we go to our review section is that I am a fan of the family. I actually do like that concept of a crazy cannibalistic family. They're based on Ed Gein originally, which was a real serial killer from Wisconsin, not Texas. Thank you very much.
Ed Gein used tools.
Yeah, that's true.
To pull flesh over. I can't. There was no like chains.
The chainsaw. The chainsaw is a little bit of that Hollywood sensation.
Yeah.
But it works because everybody remembers the title. That's one of the best things about this movie. The title really catches your attention. And
it basically is the movie in the same film.
And Leatherface is an icon of horror, so I am a huge fan of Leatherface. He could have been even
more Leatherfacey.
More Leatherfacey, and they get to that in the sequels.
Yeah. The newer movies apparently are good. I didn't watch it because I don't like horror movies.
Yeah. Theo doesn't even like horror movies, and I made him watch this, so I'm kind of the bad guy here. But I do like the family, and I do, of course, like Leatherface. By the way, the guy that played the hitchhiker is from Houston, so he gets ran over at the end of the movie by them. But anyway, As far as recommending the movie, I think Theo has covered what he thinks about it.
Don't like it.
Hated it.
Hated it.
According to Theo. Shout out to anybody who can get that reference without looking it up. I, on the other hand, now here's the thing. I'm gonna rate it 3 out of 5. And the only reason it's getting a 3 from me is because of historical significance. I actually, if I just had to watch the movie without knowing the name, without knowing how important it was to the history of horror, I can't recommend it on its merits alone, on its technical merits or whatever. It's, to me, the whole Franklin thing takes away a lot. The stupidity, and I'm not talking about ignorance or you made one bad choice. It's just dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. These are the dumbest survivors of any horror movie I've seen in a long time. And I watched the Evil Dead franchise, and somebody reads from the Necronomicon in every movie, and that's really dumb.
And I don't even know what that means.
But nothing is as dumb. If you saw this hitchhiker that they picked up, and you picked him up, that alone is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I can't recommend it on its merits alone. I do recommend it for watching it as there's a lot of good technical stuff in there, especially for a smaller movie like that. And it also has great historical significance in the history of horror. So I would recommend it on that.
I would give it a 1.5 out of 5. The 0.5 is because of all the shit he just said, and the 1 is because it's horrible.
Yeah, if you can get over the Franklin stuff, then that's all. Yeah, I would suggest, however, if you are interested in the Texas Chainsaw franchise, I prefer the remake, which was made in I believe 2004 or 5, I can't remember, but it was when horror was going through that little period where they were remaking everything. Now they're just remaking about 80% of the stuff, so they've slowed down a little bit. But I do like the remake more than the original. But yeah, check it out if you like. It is on Freevee right now, so
maybe we'll get to it. But our next movie, because he made me watch that, we're gonna watch The Flash with Ezra Miller. Yeah, we're gonna watch The Flash with Ezra Miller.
So
because I think Ezra Miller's the horrible guy, but the movie might be good. Who knows?
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm very much against it.
This is payback.
All right, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.